Why, hello there.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, Mark. Thanks for saving the day here.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know if it was because I had an update both to Zoom and Chrome at the same time. I thought, well, maybe that's something that fucked up on my end. But either way, I'm glad we're here. That's all that matters, you know?
This is true.
Yeah,
So, I guess I'm the host right here then.
yeah.
So,
That'll be different. I'm used to being the host, so I'm
I
happy to be
know.
the guest. I do
Thank
want to show something to you that my wife made for me for Halloween before we get too much into it. See, it's a little candle-like thing with a little LED candle, and it's a picture of a baby with a saw. I'm not sure you can see that. And then
you.
she cut the eyes out, so the eyes glow.
Awesome.
So this is my creepy baby. I keep with me. So
You need to market those.
I told her she needs to sell those. Yes, that's awesome. She could take them to Cinema Wasteland,
Yeah.
do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well, welcome to Phantom of Haunted Hill. Yeah,
yes,
right. I forgot the name of my channel. I'm Mike, your phantom. I'll be your phantom too, Mark.
excellent. Someone has to be, you
Yes,
know.
indeed. All right, Mark. Well, you were in a punk rock band. So you were a musician, a writer, author, director, talk show host. What haven't you done?
I've even done nude modeling. So we'll add that. Back when I was in college and in much better shape. Uh, what haven't I done? Um, wow, you know, that's a good question. I mean, I don't think I ever attained a kind of level of success that I was always hoping for in some of those endeavors. I guess, that's the fantasy. I think when you become a musician, you have that idol you look up to and you want to be that. Uh, I think, boy, that I don't know. Yeah, probably that's about it. I don't know if there's nothing I haven't done other than like become God Emperor of all things. That's about it. No, I've had fun doing as many things as I could do. I like
Yeah, we're
I
not
like
here
being
for that
creative.
long.
Right,
And you
right.
only realize that the older you get.
Yes, right. Then there's that saying, youth is wasted on the young.
That's
And
right.
it makes sense when you get to our age, like, God damn it.
Yeah.
So many things. If I could go back, all those stories now make more sense. They resonate deeper. Those like time travel stories and wanting to go back and like if I could change one thing.
Yeah. I would have changed my underwear.
Yes. Yes. Oh, on several occasions at least. Right. Except when nude modeling. So that.
Well, I don't think we want to hear about that one.
No, 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 not this day and age. Back when I was 25, it was a whole different thing. But right.
I'd do nude modeling if only.
I get money now from people telling me to keep my clothes on. So, you know, that's that's always good. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start with how I first met you. It was
All
at
right.
Gallardi Fest.
Mm-hmm.
We went up to your table and you were pawning off this great movie.
Yes. My first feature-length movie, Monster of Party Beach, a wonderful endeavor by Cyclops Movies.
I love this movie still.
Oh,
I
thank you.
think it's great. It's just like a 1950s monster movie.
That's what it's trying to be, like that 50s, 60s bikini beach movie with lots of bad dancing, and a rubber suit monster and fake blood and just trying to make fun of all those conventions.
Beautiful girls everywhere.
Yeah. My grandma was pretty savvy when she knew I was making this movie. She died shortly before I was able to finish it. so she never got to see
Really?
it. But she said, "I know why you're making this movie, Mark Allen, with all them. You want to see them girls in the bikinis?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, Grandma, that's right."
Yeah. Why do you think I'm making this movie?
Exactly. Not for my health. No, I always wanted to make a movie. Like, I think I was inspired by, I grew up watching The Little Rascals, as a kid. And they always went from like these kids who were really poor to putting on these elaborate, lavish shows, in tuxedos and these dance numbers. And I
Yeah.
think at the ripe age of like 3 or 4, I internalized that I could do something like this. And I thought, well, why the hell not? Why can't I? It took me too long to get there, but I just made a decision. I'm going to make a movie. So I bought a camera and a tripod and started writing, and I started asking everybody I knew. I didn't even have a store yet. I just started asking, would you be in my movie? Yeah, it just, I'm glad that you like it. Thank you.
Oh, I do. Definitely a great one. And I know we got a lot to talk with you about.
I'm here. You got me for the duration.
Okay, but hopefully it'll record for 45 minutes at
Oh,
least.
I got it set for 2 hours, so we're good.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for recording, by the way.
Sure. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, so following Monster of Party Beach, this one came around.
Yes, Sorority Sisters versus Sasquatch. Yes. I I designed that DVD cover, by the way. That's all mine. Yeah. I wanted to have the look and feel of a late 70s, mid-late 70s exploitation film like Satan's Cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to look like a DVD you would find in the back of the video store, back behind the curtain, kind of thing.
Now this isn't you when you did nude modeling, is it?
No, if I looked that good now, I wouldn't have any clothes on. So.
Okay, and
Yeah, that one, I think I was still learning how to make movies, and that one, it was my second movie, so I felt a lot of pressure, and I seriously need to re-edit that movie sometime down the road. It'd be nice. It's about 20 minutes too long, and it just
lots of dialogue.
it is. It's packed with dialogue, and it really needed to be cut, and there were some things going on that I couldn't get to shoot the way I wanted it to shoot, and instead of I knew everyone's time was limited. That's the hard thing with making indie movies. Everyone's time is limited. You don't know when you're going to get to see them, so you try and get as much in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the middle section really bogs down. And although that's very appropriate for the age, the era of the 70s, it started off and then it kind of bogs down. In the last third, it picks up. But for a comedy, you don't want that. So, but if I got a chance to reshoot and re-edit any movie, it would be that one.
Yeah, that definitely, because I do remember now when you had this made by that DVD company and how they messed it up.
Oh no, it wasn't the DVD company. It was all me. They put out a nice product. It was just I did not do a great job of editing because I was making sure that every line I wrote for the movie had to go in, and and it's like no, not everything was good, and so some of the garbage got left in there. So but like I said, I would cut 20 minutes from the movie today. It would be a much better movie. And there's the one scene that I would reshoot when they're discussing the meaning of the word nubile, which is like a running joke in all my movies. I would reshoot that scene because originally Sasquatch was supposed to be attacking during that scene, and we just didn't work out. And so it comes, the jokes are supposed to be delivered at the time where they were like busily like putting up boards on windows and trying to fight off Sasquatch attacking them. And because we couldn't do that, it just turned into like, well, let's just shoot the lines and everyone's sitting around. So it would have been a much funnier instance had Sasquatch been outside beating on the windows and trying to get in, and they're like hammering boards up like in Night of the Living Dead, saying, well, nubile means this. And that was the original. That was the, see, you're laughing. That would have been much better. It just didn't work out that way. And then I think the movie suffers for it. But, hey, I mean, what do you want? I mean, I still think it's a better movie for dollar than most of the stuff we get out of Hollywood these days. So
Definitely. Okay, and then following that movie, you were still in the horror type of realm, but you went a little sci-fi as we journeyed on a quest for Uranus.
Yes.
Now,
Quest.
I expected a lot of sexual puns in this, and there's not as many as I thought there would be.
No, because it's. I mean, once you put the word Uranus in a sentence, it becomes its own joke, and that's why I only have like one line about methane. Because the easy joke is to make fart jokes. It's just too easy. But like when I was starting to get ideas for this, I always start with some jokes that I want to put in the movie. I don't know where they're going to show up. I just start off with some lines. And the first line I wrote was, "I bet Uranus is a dark and mysterious place." And I thought, okay, it's all the double entendre, And once I knew it was set in the 50s and I wanted it to be black and white, that's why I brought in all the misogyny and all the anti-commie stuff, and with the secret hidden Nazi character, Hans von Gretel Gruber. Um, I think it's my best movie because by then, third movie, it was edited quite a bit before I shot. It's still a little reserved. It could probably be cut a little bit, but it's got a great educational short in the beginning, Your Private Place and You.
Oh yeah, I
you know,
love
they,
I
they,
love Audrey.
yeah, she's great. And
Audrey.
Audrey, hey,
I
yeah,
love
Audrey Worcester. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you tell her.
I know you love riding horses. I'll ride a horse. Let's go riding sometime.
There you go.
Will you marry me?
Oh, I think he's going to propose, Audrey. I better be quiet here. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm finished. I'm back now.
Okay, good. Yeah, Audrey's great. We had so much fun shooting that movie. What was different about this one, with Sorority Sisters, we were fortunate enough to have most of the shoots had multiple people at the same time, so we could shoot these group shots, these great scenes where everyone was together. Everyone could kind of deliver their lines, and I could do this great thing without as many cuts. But in Quest for Uranus, almost everything was done one person at a time. A few of the scenes had two, or three people, but 95% of the movie is one person at a time, and I just kind of edit it together. I had them stand on one side of the room, look into a corner, deliver their lines, or look into the other corner, and it was all shot in front of mostly a green screen for almost the entire movie.
Well, my favorite part of the whole movie is the giant spider. Where the hell did you get that thing? That thing is so funny, and it's scary looking too.
Yeah, that's
big boogly eyes.
Yeah, like a woman's head. Yeah, it's Lamia. That very much like this creepy candle. That was another Halloween gift from my wife, and it's like it's got a little dome over it, and you push a button, and these little tiny bats like fly around, and it makes crazy, creepy music and horrifying sounds. I mean, it is terrifying. This human head on this spider body, and I'm like, oh, there's my monster. There's Lamia. I gotta use that. I gotta use that. So I just put the camera down real quick, and I put the toy in front of it. I'm just kind of moving it back around and just getting that, trying not to get too much glare on it. But I think it looked great, in the movie.
It was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
See, you're adventurous as a filmmaker. I know right now you're currently an author, which is what you're focusing on.
Right.
But I hope one day that you will make another movie.
I have wanted to make movies. I've got a bunch more that I want to make. I have one realistically. One more that I want to do for sure. It's an anthology of short pieces and then a longer movie. It's called Inappropriate Stories for Children. But it's, Quest for Uranus took so long to do because I'm doing most everything myself. I mean, other than the other acting roles, but I'm the one who writes it, and then I shoot it, and I edit it, and I direct it, and do all the work behind it, do the special effects and sound effects, and all those kinds of things. And it took a year to do, over 300 hours of editing alone on that. So like, it was just such a time-consuming process that I don't know if I'll have the luxury of doing that kind of project again. I'd love to, but we'll have to see. But I'm still up for it because I really like the process of creating movies and then sharing them with people, and then having people like yourself, if you watch it and enjoy it and you get a good laugh out of it, that makes me happy. Like you're having a good time, or you like the gore, or you like the girls, or whatever it is that you like about it. I appreciate that.
or the monster suit.
Yeah, that was a gloves and a head, and in Sorority Sisters, that was half our budget, was the Sasquatch costume, you know, and that was Quest for Uranus was the cheapest of the three movies to make. That was only, I think it cost about $135 to make
Yeah,
that
you
movie.
make movies on the cheap. You
Real
make
cheap, right?
look like a millionaire. But
Thanks. Well, the green screen I got for only $30, which I thought was a steal.
oh,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, 20 foot by 10-foot green screen for $30. And then the only other things I bought some fabric for the Uranusians costumes, some like little chain. I had a good friend, Carlos, make the model, the spaceship, and also the laser gun. Um, and everything else I found online. And then my good friend Sean Burton, we were doing one of the scenes, the only gore in the scene in the movie, really, when one of the characters gets killed, and then he went and bought chocolate syrup because I didn't have any. So it's black and white. That's what you're going to use for blood. So really, it was a really affordable movie because no one's getting any money. I'm not getting any money. I'm not making money off these movies. But I enjoy watching them with people, and that's what gives me joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for that walk down memory lane. I really do like these movies. They're just silly, and they're not meant to be taken seriously. And
Yeah, they're
uh,
fun.
yeah, everyone can have a good time with it. And like I said, dollar for dollar, you know, my motto is, suck it, Hollywood. Cyclops Movies is here. I'll go up anybody in Hollywood. If they can shoot a movie better than this or as good as this on a $135 budget, I'll give it to them.
Okay, let's see here now. Tell us about your journeys as an author. How many books have you written? 3 or 4
I've
already?
got four. The fifth one is in works right now. I have been writing since I was a teenager. It was really what I wanted to do in high school. Like my senior year, I was going to be a makeup artist, special effects makeup artist. That's what I wanted to do because Tom Savini, all of his work. And then I realized, I can't draw. I can't draw at all. That's probably going to get in the way of doing that. And so I took a creative writing course, and I thought, I've never even thought about doing this as a profession or career. And that really kind of got me into it. But for the longest time, I wrote short stories and a lot of poetry, mostly poetry. I was afraid to write long fiction because I didn't think I could write convincing dialogue. In all honesty, I thought I couldn't carry a story with dialogue. So I just didn't have faith in myself. But what
Keep talking,
happened?
Mark. I'll be right back.
You're okay.
I'm just going to grab. I got a message about where I'm going after our interview. So
Okay, cool.
I'll
I
be
can
right
I can wait till you come back. No problem.
no, I'm right here. Keep talking.
Oh, okay. So what it was is when I started writing the movies, the scripts for the Cyclops movies, that I realized these are nothing but dialogue. I'm not writing a lot of direction for the actors. This is just, I'm carrying a story entirely through dialogue. And after the third one, I thought, well, I've been afraid of nothing. This is silly. I'm going to start writing books. It's what I've wanted to do since I was like 16 or 17. So I just decided, what the hell? I'm going to write a book. And just like I did with the movie, it's like, well, I've never done a movie, but I'm just going to figure it out as I go. That's kind of how I approached, writing this book. We're just kind of getting ideas and characters and places and a story, and just kind of developing that, and just like, well, you sit there with the blank page and you just have to put that first sentence. You just have to start writing sentences, and hopefully something will come up. I mean, I've always been a good outliner and a good detailer, and I learned that through years in academia, between as a student and as an instructor. So I had a pretty detailed outline of how I knew the story was going to go. So that was really helpful to me. I have an outline to look at, but still, an outline might be a sentence. Sentence might be a idea for 3 or 4 or 5, 10 pages. So you still have to work a word at a time, a sentence at a time. And I found that the first time through writing my first book, I felt like I was just floundering in the darkness, like groping. Like I had no idea. I mean, I knew where I wanted to go, but I didn't know if I was going to get there or if I was getting there, just kind of feeling my way and hoping I was making sense, that at the end of it, it would all make sense. And fortunately it did. People seem to like that first book pretty well. And so that makes me very happy because it's a genre I never would have written otherwise. It's one I wasn't familiar with, but it's made me very happy to write that. And then every book since then, although in very different genres, every book I write so far has been different, except the one I'm working on now. It's the second of the series in my first book, the Cozy Mystery. Um, every genre has been different, but I feel more confident going into every book. Like, okay, I've done this. I know how the process goes. And I just have to trust myself that I can actually put out a decent draft and hopefully revise it and to make it something, better. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I used to be a writer, and because I was inspired by Clive Barker, the
Hmm.
books of blood fucking
Yeah.
rules, man.
Those are good. Those are good stories.
So I'd write stories and I'd send them to the horror fiction magazines. I remember one was called After Dark. I think there was Horror Show. This was back in the 80s, you know.
Yeah. After Dark sounds really familiar. I that might have been one of the places I sent to. Like you mailed in like physical typed or printed
Yeah,
copies of your stories.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember sending a bunch of them out. I mean, none of them got published ever.
Right. Sure.
I got a lot of really good rejection letters. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah, I remember that.
they all liked my ideas, but like I for some reason I just couldn't just I have a short attention span, so when I start writing something, you know, I it's better for me to be up for like 5 days straight if I was going to say write a movie or something,
Hmm.
because once I stop, good luck getting me to go back to it. And then I'm drawing blanks on ideas that I had great ideas, but I didn't write them down. And
Okay.
so I don't know.
That I get it. I get it. I keep a little notebook with me um, everywhere I go to write down stuff, ideas, because if I don't, I'll forget it. And I've gotten some really good ideas, and if I didn't have them written down, I wouldn't remember them all. So I think that's always was important. And then just making sure the outline, make sure that's as detailed as possible, and
Yeah.
so that I have something to rely on. It's like my safety net. And if I go off track or tangent, it's no big deal. I can always cannibalize, take that out, use it for something else, down the road.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. You do a podcast as well.
Yes, I do 2 podcasts, actually.
Two?
2, I know. It's crazy. Um, yeah, well, I started as a co-host on Unsane Radio a couple of years ago. Some friends of mine, Dr. Tarn, Professor Feathered, and Midnight Gadfly, were doing. Yeah, they I've been friends with Eric and Sean since my days in college. Eric owned the comic book store Hidden Realms in Bowling Green. That's how I met him and his family and their friend Sean, and we just been friends ever since. And um, they have Tar and Feathers Psycho Cinema, which is like a MST3K. They're horror hosts, so they show movies, do skits. They're great. They've actually lampooned Quest for Uranus and Monster Party Beach.
Really?
Yes. So I think they're on Vimeo. So Tar and Feather, TarrandFether. Go to Vimeo, Tar and Feather. You can see their version of Monster Party Beach. It's hysterical. Commentary, it's delightful. They just rip it to pieces and just make fun with it, and that's great. I love it. But anyway, so I kind of was starting to come on from time to time as like a guest host, guest co-host, and then after a while they said, you're just part of us now. You're just in the family. I'm like, well, okay. So I changed my name because I was just doing Mark Justice to Dr. Head. And so that's like in Monster Party Beach.
Yeah.
And so that's my persona there, Dr. Head. So we've been doing Unsane Radio. I think we just recorded like 140th episode. You
Really?
know, yeah. So unsaneradio.com. We're popping on pop culture. So movies, directors, genres, cartoons, TV, all kinds of stuff. I mean, we talk about everything. And then it was the second one, which the one I think you wanted to talk about more, is heavy metal horror.
Yeah.
On And that was one, my buddy Joe, we were doing a virtual game night, you know, during COVID, back I think in February or something, March of this year. And he said, he was, you know, we just talked about it. He's like, man, I've always wanted to do something like that with you. I'm like, well, I didn't know that. I said, that's great, let's do something. And so my friend Mark was there. I said, let's just do something. We'll talk about horror, we'll talk about heavy metal, like all the things we love.
Yeah.
And so that was born, you know. And we just kind of invited a few other people we knew who were into horror or music or metal, you know. And we just started doing some episodes. Just weren't really sure, trying to find our way. You know, we started with like, we started doing this thing called Bottoms Up, like we did Iron Maiden Bottoms Up, like from their worst album to their first, you know, top.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of evolved over time. And the big breakthrough for us is when we interviewed Carl Sanders from Nile. And how that came to be was, I saw, you know, I've been Facebook friends with Carl, and I'd met him a couple times, super nice guy. And I saw that he was doing, during COVID, you know, because no bands are touring, he was doing guitar lessons online for
Really?
$30. Yeah, for $30 for half an hour. I'm like, oh. And I wrote to him, I said, Carl, could I buy like an hour of your time and you come on our show and just, we can hang
Wow,
out and
that's
interview? And he
cool.
agreed. I'm like, oh, well, that's awesome. Okay. And we were all just like nervous, like, oh my God, it's Carl Sanders, you know. And you know, exactly. And we were all just like, oh. So I had a list of questions, and an hour went by so fast. We interviewed him, but we also had this like top 5 desert island bands, something where he could contribute. Like, if we had her stuck on a desert island with only 5 music of 5 bands, what would those 5 bands be? And it allowed him to kind of come in and chime in on our choices and offer his. And afterwards, we were like, oh my God, this is awesome. Who else can we talk to? So that's when we started like writing letters and reaching out to people.
You've
And
gotten great ones. I watched,
yeah,
I got to finish it, but the singer of Virgin Steel, how
yeah,
the fuck
Dave
did you get
DeFay.
that?
Yeah,
Eric
David.
Wagner. Yeah, let's
Oh,
take one at a time. The
yeah.
Virgin Steel. How the hell did that happen? I
Um,
didn't even know they were still
yeah,
together.
David DeFay was a fantastic interview. I contacted David only because I like this band so much.
Exorcist, yeah.
Exorcist, great band. Now, and then my buddy Vic, who's also on the podcast now, Heavy Metal Horror, is Vic Stone from the band Vindicator. He told me that about, he said, oh yeah, it's the same guy who the singer for Virgin Steel and this and that. I'm like, really? So I looked him up. I'm like, okay, because I really just wanted to talk to him about this. I wanted to find out, is there going to be more Exorcists? This is the new Father, Son, and Unholy Spirit version. It's 3 discs worth of this album, all 3 different versions. Anyway, so I found Virgin Steel Management. By this time I had written a kind of a nice form letter, and I just sent an email to Virgin Steel Management saying, we'd love to talk to someone, you know, Virgin Steel, you know, would love to talk with David DeFay about his experience as an exorcist. And lo and behold, he said, yeah. I'm like, oh, well, this is fantastic. Um, and then he showed, you know, I set it up. Just started using Zoom, and he came in just graciously. It was warm and funny, told us great stories. Such a nice guy. And we had the best time. It was just like, it's amazing, you know, we're just like, my God, we just talked with this guy like it was our next door neighbor, you know. And that's what's not lost on us. I mean, we can go through all the interviews we did, like you said, mentioned Eric Wagner, which, you know, he was a hero of mine. I
Yeah.
mean, the fact we're doing these interviews with these guys, it blows our minds that we get to spend this time with them. Because even if you had a backstage pass, you would never get this kind of time with them. You get your 3 minutes, like, hi, you get a picture, you get an autograph. I
Yeah,
mean, you're not going to be able to sit down for 2 hours and ask them everything that you've wanted to ask them,
yeah,
and listen to their crazy stories and just hang out. And that is what is so crazy great about this show. It is beyond our wildest expectations, that we just never thought in the world we'd ever dream about meeting any of these people. Um, and
yeah.
and they're coming on, and we're grateful. We are just so grateful for this opportunity.
I got high with Eric Wagner and Trouble.
Nice.
Well, I saw Trouble back in, I think it was '83 here in Cleveland at the Magic Show Palace. And some of my metal friends didn't believe that they played here that early and at like just a regular type of a bar. But
Yeah.
yeah, we were there and we were right there in the front, man.
Oh, wow.
The second time they played the Variety Theater and we got dropped off early because we had no other ride to the show. So we were there at like 5:30 and we're standing out there and Eric Wagner walks around the back of the building and he grabs one of the flyers for the show that's on the door. And so we started talking to him and he invited us backstage and he like whipped out a couple of joints and we're sitting there with Ollie Olson and
Yeah.
Jeff and all the other guys and talking and smoking pot. We got all their autographs, man. It was awesome.
That's fantastic. Um, the interview with Eric, it is so bittersweet, because just, after we interviewed him on my birthday, and it was a month later he was sick, and 2 weeks after that he was dead, senselessly dead from COVID. But I still have a voicemail on my phone I'm keeping from him. Um, but we had made plans, because the Skull was supposed to come back to Cleveland in April of the 2022. And he had said, let's get together. And we were all gonna get high together. you know. They said, yeah, we'll bring you some pot. And he's like, that'd be great. Come on over. And he was such a warm and generous, very down to earth guy. Had some great stories to tell. Just so nice. That has been our experience so far with everyone we have met. Um, just incredibly nice and warm, and gracious with their time. Ralph Sheepers, from Gamma Ray and Primal Fear, and also the guys from Sorcerer, who Justin Biggs and Christian Nyman. They're actually coming back on our show this Sunday to help us do some of our top 10 shows.
Really?
Yeah, we're all friends now on Facebook. We email back and forth. It's like, I'm like, oh my God, they're commenting on our post, like forwarding us. Nibs Carter from Saxon was crazy. You know, um, it was just amazing. The people that we're meeting, it's just astonishing, and it, it's kind of surreal, that's what's great. It's just a little, just odd, you
Yeah.
know, and I like that, um, that it's bizarre and feels weird. I love that. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think, who else we've had on.
Have you
You know,
interviewed anyone from the horror world, or?
I've reached out, um, tangentially. I mean, we just also did an interview with Matt Thompson, the drummer for King Diamond. His interview actually will come out next week. And then King Diamond is on our guest list for next year when the album comes out, which I'm gonna just be absolutely bonkers out of my mind. It's like, King Diamond. Oh my God, King fucking Diamond. Are you serious? Um, yeah. So I guess that's about as close to horror. I've written to a few other people in the horror genre. Let me pull up here. We have I keep a track of everyone that we send stuff out to.
Wow.
Um, I've reached out to Felissa Rose, and I haven't heard back, but I want to do it again because you never know. So their people are busy; they don't always get messages. I reached
I
out.
know her husband, Darren. He was in what's that crappy band CK7 or something.
Felissa Rose's husband.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, well, definitely hit him up. Tell him I'd like to talk with Felissa.
he was on my
Um,
old radio show before.
oh,
That's how.
nice. Oh, cool. Oh,
And
that's awesome.
he also has a death metal band, but I can't remember the name of that band. I had a
Nice.
CD. But I don't
Wow,
remember.
that's awesome. Small world.
Maybe I could
Um,
get her on because I do know people.
yeah, that'd
You
be
know,
great. I
I
mean,
know I know a bunch of somewhat big movie stars. I mean,
mhm.
not Tom Cruise but like Maria Olsen. Well, she's mad at me now, but that's okay.
That's great.
Walked the red carpet with her for her
Nice.
movie Gore Orphanage. That was awesome.
Yeah. Well, that'd be great. Anything, I appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to reach out to him, again, I don't take rejections personally because I know people are busy. Like we've had some people turn us down, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm reaching out. Like we're
It's
reaching out
better
to
than
everybody.
it's better than them saying, "Okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'm interested," and then you never hear back.
Right.
That's
Yes.
why I'm having all these people I asked to do interviews here on the Phantom of Haunted Hill, and everybody's interested. But and I actually there is somebody else I'm interviewing later today,
Oh, nice.
another horror director.
Cool. Well, I've reached out to Bill Mosley and Caroline Williams, Cassandra Peterson. I got heard back from them. She's too busy, and that's cool. I heard back. I reached out to Ruth Nega just recently. I'm hoping to hear back from her. Neil McDonough and Linda Blair. Uh, I know Linda Blair's already got all of her Exorcist questions on her website. I want to
She
talk about her other movies like Hell Night and things like that.
yeah.
And I've met Linda Blair before. She's a lovely person and just delightful and has a wonderful charity. And she's just great. But I think that's what it is. This opportunity just to say hi. It's not like I'm a stalking fan. But we try to do things that are a little different than just regular questions and answers, and try to have fun, engaging things for our guests to join in
Yeah.
and just have a good time with. And so I understand they're busy and we're nobody, we're nobody yet. And but so I'm just having fun. We got more great guests coming in the new year. I'm not at liberty to say any names on the air right now, but we got some pretty good names coming. And I'd love to get some more horror people coming there. So if you can get Felissa on here, that would be lovely.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll go through the list of everybody I know.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love that.
Yeah,
Oh,
'cause I was,
uh, yeah. So it's good. I just love what we're doing. Heavy metal horrors. It's a very exciting to be doing what we're doing, and it's a great way to spend time with my friends. And so yeah, it's a blast.
tell me what you think of this, Mark. I was thinking of starting off my videos like this. The Phantom of Haunted Hill. Sound good?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Just don't sue me for ripping you off there.
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, if I've inspired you in some small way, take it and run, my friend.
Yeah, there was one I watched. You were with some girl and you were talking about Halloween, and it was such a great
Oh,
episode. I
oh
can't
yeah.
remember who she was, but
That was Chesty LaBouche.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes. Chesty is in Monster Party Beach, and she has done behind the scenes stuff in my other movies. Yeah, Chesty and I have been friends for years. I adore her. And yeah, well, thank you for watching the episode. We just wanted to sit and talk.
It
Uh,
it just brought me back to my childhood. I'm like, wow, other people did that with their candy, like separating them, and doing all this and that.
Right.
That was excellent. That was a great show.
Yeah, and being scared of all the razor blades and needles and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Right. Right. I know parents are worried about, like, those things, and I think I don't even I know there's hospitals around us where we're offering free x-rays, like if you want your candy to be x-rayed, and I was thinking, well, now I take it home and I'm going to be irradiated. Why-
Yeah.
I'm getting free fluoroscope, you know I'll be like the amazing colossal man, start growing.
Yeah. You call this living?
That's right. That's great. Well, I'm glad you watched it and enjoyed it. We had a blast. We didn't know who was going to show up. I'm glad she did. And yeah, Chesty's wonderful. She had a wonderful party for us at her house when we had our premiere for Monster Party Beach. And we also premiered Quest for Uranus at her house as well with the other cast members. It was like the first viewing, all the cast members got the chance to see it. That's wonderful, just seeing their reactions, because they don't know the finished product. They just know their scenes,
Yeah.
and to finally see it complete with music and all those things, that's really crazy fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're watching these. Thank you. That's fun. I don't know who watches, and I appreciate everyone who's listening and watching our podcast. That I really appreciate that.
I do too, but I've got 20, I think this will be my 25th video, and it's
That's
just
great.
really slow going. I don't know.
Hmm.
I think I need a co-host. I need someone to liven it up besides just me.
I understand. I think the benefit in some ways, like what we do on heavy metal, is we all know each other. We're all friends, and we don't. That's part of the banter. I mean, Dreadbull and I have been friends for over 40 years, and Chop Top and I've been friends for over 30. So we have a long history. We can break each other's balls, at any time, because that's what good friends do. And but to share this with them means a lot. So I have great relationships with Chesty, and also with Bloodletter, two of my favorite people, and I just love spending time with them. And being able to do it this way with Zoom is amazing, because not everyone's lives are busy, but they can hang out in their own house for a couple hours and just kick back, and we can have fun. And so I think it's the best of all worlds. you know
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm glad you're watching. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, I had an idea here.
Oh, nice Superhost picture in the back, by the way. I got that same one on my fridge.
Autographed.
Yeah, I wrote to him. I found him he was on Facebook, and I wrote to him. I said, "Oh, I'm just such a fan. I grew up watching you, and Superhost was just my hero, and I just wanted to say thank you." And I said, "Is it possible that I can buy an autographed picture?" And he says, "No, you can't buy one." He goes, "But if you do something, just do something good for someone, pay it forward." I'm like, and when he didn't have any autographed pictures at his house, so what he did, he printed a picture of that picture on a magnet and then signed it, and it's on my refrigerator right now.
Kick ass.
Yeah, and then he wrote me a little letter, and he sent me some original, like, strips of, like, the picture, like little, like, film strips or negatives. So if I ever want to, like, make more or something, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Wow.
it was just so generous. I never got a chance to meet him. Like, I
I
didn't
did.
at Akron Comic Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really
That's
wanted
when
to
I
go.
had my chance to thank him, because
Yeah.
he was very important to me growing up. I
Oh yeah.
mean, every Saturday I made sure I was there for the Three Stooges at noon.
Hmm.
Then he'd show like Godzilla and the Wolfman and the Beach Girls and the Monster and
Oh
Invasion
yeah.
of the Saucer Men and War of the Worlds and the Blob. And I was just,
Right.
that made me what I am today.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean,
I love him for it.
yes, love is the right word. And like you, I grew up as a monster kid.
Yeah.
I mean, on Friday nights we would have, like, it was, well, Houlihan and Big Chuck.
Yeah.
And then when I was 4 years old, I started watching The Ghoul on Saturdays. Saturday
Yeah.
nights was The Ghoul. And that's pretty crazy. The Ghoul I loved him too. The Saturday afternoons, Superhost. So I'm grateful. Cleveland has had a, because of Gallardi, we've had this great center of horror hosts.
It's
This,
incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I feel very fortunate, like you, to have grown up with these horror hosts and to have them shape our lives at such a young age, and being able to thank them for it. That's important.
Yeah.
That moment of connection, because that's all you want to say, just to let them know how much they mean to you. So like at Goularty Fest, when we met, when you got in line to meet and to see Houlihan and Big Chuck and Little John and Art Fredo and all these other guys, all you want to do, at least all I wanted to do, was just say thank you. You've
Yeah.
made my childhood. I grew up with you, and it's just so important to be able to let them know how much they mean. You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
and
Big Chuck
yeah,
and Little John were on my radio show back when me and Stella were on WRUW. They came down to the studio. They were on a couple times.
really,
And the first time, I mean, a ton of friends wanted to come down and meet Big Chuck. People at the radio station wanted to come down. The only people I couldn't stop from coming down were people from the radio station because it was a big deal. Like, oh
oh
my
yeah.
God, AP and Stella, they got Big Chuck and Little John. How the fuck did you do that? Then they come down to the station, and if you watch like the video of it, you'll see some of our DJs standing around like this in the studio. But it was a great show. It was a great time. I mean,
Oh yeah.
each time it was.
I
But
love that. I had a good moment with Little John at the last Goularty Fest that I was there selling uh, my Cyclops stuff, and we had been trading cigars for a long time, like even
really,
before Goularty Fest. I would show up, he'd be there, and I would like. First of all, I just gave him some cigars, like a bag of them. He's like, "Oh, I don't have any to give you back." I'm like, "That's okay, just don't worry about it." I saw him again. He remembered me. He's like, "I bought some cigars for you, hoping I would see you." And so we started swapping cigars. It's just become this thing. And so we were at Goularty Fest, and on Friday I gave him some cigars, and I said, "Well, hopefully we can have a chance to smoke one." And it kind of, Friday and Saturday, nothing happened. So on Sunday morning, he comes over to me at my table. He's like, "What are you doing after the show?" And I said, "Nothing." He's like, "Come on out. Let's go. I want to take you out to dinner and we'll have a cigar." I'm like, "Okay, that's fantastic." And so I met him at this restaurant just right down the road, and we hung outside and smoked a cigar. Some of his friends showed up. We had dinner. He bought dinner. I didn't want him to buy me dinner, but he said, "No, no, no, I insist." And I thanked him for that. And that we just talked for an hour, just the two of us smoking cigars. I got to talk to him, hang out, and I didn't get a picture. It's like my only regret. But I would love to have them come on the show. I don't know if they would be willing to do that. My God, I never even thought of asking. Um,
I have Little John's phone number.
well, I don't want to impose. That would be way imposing since he never gave it to me. I did give him my card with my phone number, and I said I really had a good time. I invited him to us. My cousins would get together like once a month to play poker all day and smoke cigars, and I invited him to our poker playing. I said you're more than welcome. He never called back, and that's okay. Again, I never take these things personally. They're busy people. We're not like friends. He knows me, but we're not like in certain. We're not friends.
Yeah.
But I would love to interview him. I'm not sure if Big Chuck would be up for it or not, but yeah, I'd love to spend more time with Little John. That was just so much fun, and I really appreciate it. So, Little John, if you're listening, thank you for that wonderful evening. Love to hang out with you and smoke some more cigars with you, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
And give him a half a head of lettuce or cabbage.
it's right.
Remember that?
And the other gentleman would like this fine-looking gentleman would like the other half. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I would just name off a couple of horror movies, and you tell me if you think they're great or if they suck.
Okay. Is that my two options? Great or suck?
Yeah.
Okay. I like
But
that. Clear.
okay. Slumber Party Massacre 2.
I'm going to claim ignorance on that because I've never seen part two.
Oh, you got to see it. I love
I
it.
know. I'm
People
woefully
don't like
behind.
it, but I love it. It's so corny.
Yeah. I love that. I love corny horror.
With the rockabilly guy with his guitar, and he's got the drill, and he goes and kills people, and he breaks out into a Elvis type of song, and
See
well, I'm
that?
gonna kill you, baby.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be great.
Okay, Graduation Day.
Oh, is that the? I'm trying to remember. I think if it's the one, does it take place in the school? And the students are getting picked off one by one.
Yeah, they're
Yes, that's a great movie.
yeah,
If it's so, yeah, because it's someone who was like rejected. Or maybe that's the one I'm not thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
Linnea Quigley's in here.
It's got Vanna White, huh?
Yeah.
Well, there's one that I'm thinking of. It might be
George
like that.
in it.
I'll have to see it again. But there was one that was like that. The murderer was a formerly rejected student, kind of thing, who is now a demented killer. But I thought that was a great movie. It's really well done.
Yeah.
But I got to check out that one. I've never seen that one.
That scared the shit out of me as a kid, man.
Nice. Well, I got to see Vanna White do something other than spin letters.
And Linnea's boobies.
Well, maybe does Vanna spin those?
Yeah, really.
I would like to talk with Linnea Quigley. Any of those people who want to come on, that would be great fun.
Tell them on Facebook, because that's the best way to get them. I mean,
I just never sat down and started looking for them all, but I would love to. That's like the next step for like next year. I want to start doing more of those kinds of things, and then reaching out to other podcasts. But I'll do that.
Telling you to email people. Well, I do too, but then they,
you can't make them come. You can't. And hopefully you can work it out. Hopefully, things will happen, but you never know.
Yeah.
But I'd love to interview them. Yeah, I think that's great fun.
Okay, let's see here.
I'm feeling bad because the movies I don't know if I've seen. I gotta,
I know, and I'm feeling bad. Okay, how about this one? We'll go to my Japan section.
Okay.
Which are my most popular videos, because how about this one?
Oh, great.
Matango.
I think it's that's one of Toho's best. God, that scared the shit out of me as a kid. Attack of the Mushroom People, Matango, Fungus of Death. It is so, the sets are gorgeously terrifying. And you've got Kumi Mizuno and Kenji Sahara. That movie, and I will kind of couch two stories into one. I met Kenji Sahara, who plays the guy, the crook, who has got a tooth missing. He's that character.
Like me.
Yeah, he was at G-Fest one year, and I was going there, and I talked to him afterwards to get an autograph, and I told him, and this is a true story, I said, Matango scared me so much as a kid that to this day I have never willingly eaten a mushroom. and that's exactly what he did. He just started laughing, and he thought that was like the best story in the world. I said, because that was a fucking scary movie, man. Those laughing mushrooms, and it is still creepy to this day. So yes, great movie. One of Toho's best, bar none.
Yeah, the Japanese know how to make great movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff.
What I don't understand, though, is like how they're the most calm, most nicest, decent people on the planet Earth. And then
for Canadians, right?
And then they go make movies like this.
Right. I think that calm exterior is holding a whole, roiling, bubbling cauldron of these what Stephen King calls anti-civilized feelings. When we go to horror movies, we get to let those out. We get to feed those alligators in our head. And I think in Japan they don't have those outward vents. And it builds up, and so this is how they do it through some of their cinema, but it's really disturbing. I mean, it's not as fucked up as like German horror. Jesus Christ, there's nothing more fucked up that I have seen in my life than German horror.
I haven't
Uh,
seen all that much. I know Necromantic.
Necromantic, Der Todesking.
Yeah, well, that's the
Um,
same director too,
yeah,
though.
and then The Burning Moon.
Oh
I'm like, holy Lord, like what? Something happened here. Something happened,
yeah.
But I love watching horror movies from other countries.
Oh, I
There hasn't been a lot of good horror coming out of America. Not much. It's like remakes of foreign horror, but like everyone kind of has their own view on horror. Like I love the Northern European horror stuff you get from Sweden and Norway. Like Let the Right One In. I thought was brilliant. The Korean one, Train to Busan, just really wonderful. And there's a great film from Iran. A girl walks home alone at night. Just really beautifully shot. And I'd never seen any horror films coming from Iran. I'd never seen any movies coming out of Iran. So that was pretty awesome. But everyone's got their own, their cultural identity is kind of coming through these movies. And that's what I really like. I learned something about their cultures. And
Well, you know how you can
yeah.
find some of those movies? Believe it or not, you know how they have their ethnic grocery stores?
Hmm.
I went into a Middle Eastern one time, and I started looking through the movies because they have
Oh, like the movies to buy or movies to rent.
to buy.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's a great
But
resource.
I felt really bad though because everybody in there was looking at me like,
Hmm.
what the fuck is he doing in this store?
Yeah.
I'm looking for horror movies.
Right.
You guys keep eating your beans or whatever. God, I hate Middle Eastern food. It's horrible.
What I've had, I've enjoyed, but my experience is very limited. You know. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go soon, but let's see here. Let's see. Okay, how about some Paul Naschy? Dracula's Great Love.
Man, you are pulling out some really obscure titles that I have not seen, man. I feel like I'm letting down so many people. I've never seen it. Oh, I'm up for it. I love watching obscure horror. What it looks like something from the 1970s.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
From Spain.
Yeah. I've not seen it. It looks great. I mean, who doesn't want a girl chained up with a big vampire behind her? You know?
I know.
The cover is awesome.
Okay, we'll do one more.
All right. Hopefully I'll at least be able to get to say one sucks because I will hate it.
Yeah. Oh, let's see here now.
Yeah, find a good sucky one.
Well, this one doesn't. Well, here. Yeah, I know you didn't see these movies.
Yeah, give me a good chance of finding something that I've seen. Erotic werewolf. Wow. That's a 2-disc set, even. Wow.
It's got Misty Monday. She is so beautiful.
I'll ask her to be on the show.
William Hellfire directed it.
All
He's
right.
another person I know.
Excellent. You should get in those movies, man. Start doing that softcore porn.
Well, it's the not porn.
There's
We,
softcore. Just a lot of boobies.
yeah.
Right.
And,
No,
and
I've not seen Erotic Werewolf in London, but I would totally be up for that.
okay, this will be the last one.
Okay.
Headless
Headless. Jesus Christ, man. I've not seen it.
by Scott Shermer. He produced
Sorry.
this one. He made Found, the movie Found, which I really loved.
Oh, I admire your depth of horror knowledge. It is in a whole other, like these kind of smaller indie movies that I applaud that, man. I feel like I am completely ignorant of a lot that's going on in the genre. So I mean, I see a lot of the mainstream stuff,
Yeah.
but nothing like that. That's where it's all exciting. I like indie horror. I like those low budget movies because that's where a lot of surprises come from.
How
Yeah.
about okay, you asked for a sucky movie?
Yeah, bring it. Oh man. Uh that one,
That's
by
a-
that time I'd stopped watching
yeah,
Freddy.
after Dream
Yeah,
Warriors, I was done.
yeah.
And I
I liked Freddy versus Jason though, or Jason versus Freddy. I thought that was tremendous fun.
you know how
Um,
long they were trying to make that movie? It must have taken them like 15 years or so
well,
before
you
they.
got the two. Yeah, they had to bring all the pieces together. Two different companies and bring their flagship brands. Yeah, I like that movie. I that was great fun, but I haven't really. I mean, I saw the first two, and I saw bits and pieces of probably up to Dream Warriors, the one where the people were meatballs on the pizza,
Oh yeah.
because it just became so silly, and I admire that. But
Well, he became like Rodney Dangerfield.
yeah, wisecracking jokes, and that's great because well, who else? No one else talks. Jason's mute, Michael Myers is mute. They're not cracking jokes. That almost might make those movies more tolerable, because I think after Halloween 2, Halloween 4 wasn't bad, but I just stopped watching it. I haven't watched a Halloween movie, I think, since Halloween 4.
Me
Um,
either. I've tried to watch some and I just shut it off.
yeah. Now I hear like the last couple ones, the one was with Jamie Lee Curtis again, are pretty good, but this newest one I heard is not good. But
No,
it's
I
like
saw
I have no interest. It's like the same damn story. It's like
it.
and then they're changing the storyline. And I appreciate horror as a genre. It's cheap to make, and the studios love it because they make shit tons of money. But
Yeah.
I want to see a different and interesting story that's going to pull me in and make me feel something. Like I thought The Purge, great story concept. It
But the
wasn't.
movie
The
sucked.
movies aren't great. The second one's not bad, um, but
That was such a great idea.
yeah,
I don't understand why the
execution was poor.
really bad.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I'm trying to remember the last really good horror movie that made it in America. Maybe It Follows was really creepy. Cabin in the Woods was more of a the comedy element. I thought were really entertaining movies. But most of the good stuff I see coming out of Europe, you know, and I Ginger Snaps, that's Canadian, I think.
I actually gave in and watched all three of those movies, and they all get worse as they go along. But I actually did enjoy the first one.
Yeah, it's the only one I've seen. And I liked it an awful lot. I thought it was really, really good. And yeah, that's creepy. Yeah,
This would be I. This
because
is my
that's
favorite movie.
really because that's like real horror, not like monsters. That's like people being shitty to other people, and that's
Yeah,
disturbing on a whole other level.
and
Like
Liv
oh
Tyler is so beautiful in this.
yeah,
That's what's so great about your movies. You got beautiful.
thank you. Yeah, and then there's me, which is why I try to get covered up as much as possible. Stay behind the camera.
Where did
or
the
behind,
name? Where did the name Dr. Head come from?
uh, boy, I don't know.
From your
I
new
mean,
modeling days?
no, I don't know. I was just like when I started coming up with character names, and I usually just find like silly names. Like when I was doing, yeah, I don't even know Dr. Head. I have no idea where that came from. But like when I was doing sorority sisters, I knew once I got these candy names, Red Hot, Pop Rocks, Lollipop, Licorice, I knew like, okay, that's the vibe we're going with, you know. Yeah, I don't know where those come from. Sometimes I think it just pops up, and I have a really vivid imagination, and I have a childish id. My 6-year-old in me is really unfettered, and if I can think of something that's funny or, being bemused by fart jokes or whatever, that's what's going to show up. It's like it's mostly the sexual double entendre. I'm sure that's what it is, Dr. Head. I mean, it's definitely that double entendre, especially if you see like your private place in you, where you know, with Susie. Susie gets to the exam by Dr. Head. But yeah, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just kind of out of the blue sometimes.
I
I
saw I saw this comic or meme or whatever. It's this little baby boy and a baby girl. Well, they're probably maybe 2 years old and picked it. It's a cartoon.
hmm
The boy's got his diaper pulled out and he's looking at his wiener, and he goes, "Me and you are different." And the girl's doing the same thing, and she goes, "Yeah, you have a UHF antenna, and I have a USB port."
Oh
It's
wow.
like, Let me come on in there, baby.
Oh man, that's awful. That is awful. Oh man.
Well, that's what I find funny. Huh?
Yeah. Hey, no, all types. Right. I get it. And that's why I don't mind when people. One guy told me at Gallardi Fest I was selling Sorority Sisters, and he came up to look at my movies, and I told him about them. He's like, "Oh no, I was here last year, and I bought Monster Party Beach." And I'm like, "Oh, so what'd you think?" He's like, "It sucked." I'm like, "Oh really?" And I was like, I'm like, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "Yeah, it was so cheesy, and just it was just really cheesy." I'm like, "Duh, that's the fucking
That,
point, man."
that's
You
the fun
know.
of it.
And
That's
he
what
goes,
makes
he
it
goes,
so
I won't get those 90 minutes back. I go, "Oh, it was an hour and 40. Don't
hard.
sell it short." And I showed him a picture of Sorority Sisters. I go, "You want this? You want to get a copy?" He's like, "No." Oh, I found hysterical is that he stopped by anyway
Yeah.
and looked at my movies, even though he thought it sucked. But he came back to look at my movies again. I thought that was brilliant, you know.
He secretly likes it.
Yeah, why not?
Uh,
Right. Yeah, we have fun. Everyone had a good time making them. And most everyone, I think. And they're not meant to be taken seriously, you know. And I appreciate that you liked them, and I appreciate your
and I
getting them
keep
out
them
there.
alive.
Yes. Yeah, because I'm not selling them anymore. I mean, I have them. I'm just not actively doing anything to sell them. But I take them to shows when I go do book shows or stuff like that.
If somebody wanted to check it out, can they?
Yeah, I used to sell them online through Kunaki, but I don't do that anymore. They'll have to find me on Facebook. You can find me, Mark Justice. I also have a Cyclops Movies. You can contact me through the Cyclops Movies Facebook page. On all of my movies have their own pages as well. So there's a page for Monster Party Beach, Sorority Sisters versus Sasquatch, and Quest for Uranus. So I would just say contact me through there. They're $10 plus shipping. And if you want one, I'll be happy to send it to you.
Yes, indeed, highly recommended by
Yeah.
the
Thank you.
Phantom
Thank
of
you.
Haunted Hill.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and my books are all on Amazon. So if you
Really?
want to check it out, yeah. I've
That's
got
cool.
two pulps. One that I think the two pulps you would really like.
Who
Yeah.
inspired you to do this? Were you inspired by pulps?
Oh yeah. I grew up reading The Phantom, as a kid. And that's what my last book, my fourth book, Death's Head, The Eye of Samedi, is totally inspired by The Phantom. It takes place in the 1930s, it takes place off of Haiti, near Haiti and in Haiti. Uh, and it's got that jungle vibe like The Phantom.
Would you
So
ever
yeah,
make a movie from one of your books?
would I ever make a movie?
Yeah.
Uh, I just don't. I don't know. I think that if I were to make one movie, the more successful one would probably. I mean, I'd love to see Gage Black turn into a movie, Hell's Revenge, but I think probably the movie most successfully would be the cozy mystery. I think those would be successful because Hallmark's been showing them for a month and a half now. People love those kind of Christmassy movies, and that's what that cozy mystery is. That's my big seller is my cozy mystery. Um, so but I would love to see Death's Head turn into a movie. I just don't think I could do it. It would just take far too much,
And
chart
a lot of
actors,
money.
a lot of money, a lot of special effects. I just don't have the energy. I just like, if someone else wants to run with it and buy the rights to it, or give
Yeah.
me money on the back end, that's great. Just ask me first,
Yeah.
yeah, because I got a buddy of mine who wants to do a movie version of Gage Black, and I'm like, sure, just I just get a percentage of the monies. I don't. That's great, but not sure if that's going to happen.
That would be cool if it did.
Yeah, I like Gage Black. That's of my four books, that's the one I'm most proud of, and that one feels like it's 100% me. It is out there, and the prose is vivid and violent and grim and dark, and it's everything I've wanted to write.
Everything I like.
Yeah, exactly. And I had to, since my cozy was the first book, I knew I had to go to the other end on the second one because I didn't want a rabid fan hobbling me, thinking that, I'm not going to keep on writing cozy mysteries. So I wanted to show off the bat, look, I'm not going to be writing this. This is not my normal genre. So I went from like one end of the spectrum to the other. And so to show my range, yeah. Yeah.
John went from kissing Susie to stabbing her and slicing her throat.
Right, right. Yeah. So I will have 2 books coming out next year. I'll have the second of the Cozy Sister series. And I have also plans for the next Gage Black book. So it will be a continuation of the series. And if people liked the first one, if they thought that one was something, they're going to be in for a real treat. This one's excessive. Yeah.
Because I'm Gage Black.
Yeah. Yeah. Gage is awesome.
In my town.
Yeah. It's a little bit like, Carlin, was it Carson McCullough or Cullen? I forget the character's name from Hell on Wheels. A little bit of him and a little bit of the gunslinger from the Preacher, the killer of saints. It's like a kind of a mix between those characters in a way, Yeah. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Okay, Mark. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and doing this interview.
It's my pleasure. I've had a great time. I can't believe it. Hours passed so quickly.
I know. And if I wasn't going somewhere with my friend Susan, you know her,
Sure.
she wants
Well,
to go to a Christmas connection. So we're going to the IX Center. They opened
nice.
it up.
See, I think that might be a place next year. Maybe I'll go and I'll bring my Cozy Mysteries there. They would probably sell like crazy there.
Yeah.
Oh, the first one anyway, because it's a Christmas book, or right after Christmas. But I bet I never thought about that.
Yeah, because there's like tens of thousands of people at a time inside there. I've been there with her before.
Oh, that's a good idea. Well, let me know how it goes.
I just look at the girls and purchase cheese. There's always a Chinese cheese or whatever.
That might be the best quote of all time. I just look at the girls and purchase cheese. You got to put that on a shirt or something, man. That's a bumper sticker or something. That's like the name of this episode. I think that's awesome. Well, thanks again, Mike. I really appreciate the time. It's good seeing you, my friend. Have fun. We'll do this again. And if you need copies of my books, I'll be happy to send them to you. And if you get interested in reading them, but thanks for this opportunity. I've had a great time.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And thank you for recording this, by the way.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll send this to you. I'll put it up in Dropbox. I'll put it in Dropbox when it's all done. I'll send it to you today.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, sir. And you have a great weekend, and we'll talk later.
All right, man. Peace out. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.